Hello and welcome to this project on image watermarking. In this project, we'll see how we can add a watermark to an image. So adding a watermark works as a copyright for your image so that no one else can illegally use your image or document. We will use OpenCV for this project to add logo as well as text as a watermark on different images. So the steps to solve this project are: first we will load the image and the logo from URL. Then we will resize those images. We'll convert those images into RGB format and then convert it to a NumPy array. Then we will store the height and width of both the image and the logo. Finally, finding out the coordinates of the center of the image. Next, we will find out the region of interest. The region of interest defined as the area where we need to draw our logo, where we need to put our logo. So we'll find out that. After that, we'll merge the logo with the image and visualize it. Next, we will create a text watermark. We'll use CV2 function to define a text and its properties and then apply it to a specific coordinate in the image. Then we will convert this image into RGB format and visualize it. In this way, we will complete both the image watermarking as well as text watermarking. So adding a watermark to an image works as a copyright. Different organizations can use it to make their content secure, so that their content cannot be misused without their license or a paid version. As you have seen in many firms like Microsoft or any other firm, you can see they use their watermark so that no other company, no other person can use that without their authorization or without a paid version. Also, you can see in this presentation that I have included a watermark in the left corner of Pi Analytics. So this is a watermark so that no one can use this PPT without a paid version or without a license from Pi Analytics. We will create this project using OpenCV and Google Colab. So let's get started. So in this project, we will be using Google Colab, as Google Colab provides high computational power and CV requires that. So in this project, we'll see how we can add watermark to an image, because adding a watermark works as a copyright for our image and no one can illegally use our document or image after that. We'll use OpenCV for this project to add logo and as well as text to add the watermark. So we'll start by importing some required libraries, which are: we'll import CV2, that is computer vision used for image processing. We'll import NumPy, that is used for mathematical computations. We'll import request, which will fetch our URLs to download the images we require. And we'll import image from PIL, which is used to open the image, visualize the image and all that. So let's run this cell and import these libraries. So as we can see, this cell has run. So we have imported our required libraries. Now we'll read our images from the URL. So this is a URL I have taken from the internet. I've applied it here. You can take any image, any URL that you require. We have put this here in the get function of request, and we'll open it using image function from PIL that we imported above. Similarly, we will load the image using the URL of the image from the Google Images and then resize the image and finally store it into two variables that are for the logo and the text, which will be used for logo and text watermarking. Now let's run this cell and see how to do that. So this is the image we have taken to apply the watermark on. So as you can see here, I have printed out this image underscore logo W, that is the image we are using to apply the watermark on. Let's move forward. Similarly, we'll download the logo using the request library. We have taken the Pi Analytics logo from their site. This is the URL for that. You can take any logo, any watermark that you want to try. We have stored it into logo using image function from PIL and then display it. Let's run this cell and see. So this is the logo we have imported using the request function. We'll be using this logo on the image we have imported above. So in order to use these images, first we will convert them into RGB format, that is the format for colored images, and we'll store it into a NumPy array. Similarly, we'll also extract the shape of these images, that is the height and the width of these images. So as you can see here, I've taken the image logo which I have stored above, and make it as a RGB image and then store it as a NumPy array. After storing it as a NumPy array, I'll take its shape and store it into the height and width. We doesn't require the channel here, so we have put it as blank. We don't require that, but yeah, we'll be requiring the height and width of images, which will be stored using the shape function. Similarly, for the logo, we have converted the logo into RGB format, then into the NumPy array and stored it into the logo variable, and then find out the height and width of the logo using the logo.shape function. Let's run and see how to store these values. So our values have been stored in these variables. We have extracted the shape of the logo as well as the image we are applying the logo on or the watermark on. Next is the most important step. We need to find the center of the original image. That is, we need to find the location where we will place our watermark. I'm going to place our watermark in the center of our image. So I'm finding out the center using the height of the image and the width of the image. So here we will find out the center coordinates of the image using the height and the width of the image. As you can see here, the y coordinate for the center will be height of the image divided by 2. Similarly, the x coordinate for the center will be the width of the image divided by 2. Stored it as an integer. Other than that, we'll also find out the corners, that is the top corner, the left corner, the bottom corner and the right corner. For that, we have used center y and subtract the logo divided by 2 from it. This will find out the top of the y-axis. Similarly, left of the x-axis will be width of the logo divided by 2, and which is subtracted from the center of the x, and so on. This will help us in finding the exact position where we will put our watermark. So let's run this cell and find out the location where we are putting our image as a watermark. So as you can see, this cell has run. So next we will find out the region of interest. So the region of interest is defined as the area where we need to place our watermark on. Here we will find out the ROI using the coordinates we have found above. As we can see that above we have found out the corners like the right of the x-axis, bottom of the y-axis, right of the x-axis and bottom of the x-axis. We'll use those and find out the ROI. So here we can see that the ROI of the image, that is the region of interest where we need to put our logo, is the top Y, bottom Y and the left X and right X. Similarly, we'll add the logo to the ROI. This is our ROI. We have found the ROI here in the second line. After finding this ROI, we are adding the logo to it. As you can see here, this is our result, and the result is cv2.addWeighted ROI 1, logo, 1, 0. So this logo will be added to the ROI. As you can see here, we have passed both the variables. Now I can show you how to draw lines, which means we can draw our own pattern. A pattern which will be useful if you want to add different types of images. If you want to create different patterns along with your logo also. So this is how to draw patterns. We can use the line function from CV2. I have created a line from 0 to center of Y, from left X to center of Y, and this is the image format, that is 00 by 255. Similarly, I have added one more line which is here, right X to center Y and width of the image to center of Y. Now we'll replace the ROI on the image. So for that we will use image logo that we have set here, ROI. We'll change that to the result, that is the weighted ROI and logo. Here we'll change the ROI with the logo. Let's run this cell and see what happens. So it changed the result into the logo on the image. Now we'll have to plot the logo watermark image, and for plotting that we will use the image function, which will take our image from array and convert it into RGB format and visualize it and help us in visualizing that. So you can see here that we have used image function. It will convert that image from array to image in the RGB format and display that. Let's visualize how the image looks. So we can see here that we have added our logo in the center of the image, and the pattern or the lines I was talking about are this line. As you can see here, a line in the center of this image. This is a particular pattern. You can draw any pattern that you want. I have added just a single line to show you how to make pattern. In this function, we have converted the image from array to RGB and then visualize it. Now let's move forward. So this was about the image, how to add an image as a watermark. What to do when we have to put a text as a watermark. We'll see how to put the text as a watermark. So we have already taken the variable image text w up above as a text. Now we'll use that and put that on the image, and we'll see how it works. We will convert our image into RGB and save it into a NumPy array. So in order to put the text as a watermark, we will be using putText function of OpenCV. As you can see here, we have converted this image into the RGB format and save it as a NumPy array. After that, we are using the CV2 function putText. This putText function will put the text which I have mentioned here. It will take the image. This is the image. Next, we need to pass the text we need to put on that image. This is the image. How to organize that? The width of image, you can choose any coordinates. I have chosen width of image -95 and height of image -10, which will take a certain position in that image. You can choose any coordinates. Similarly, you can change different features like the size of the text, thickness of the text, font family, color, etc. Now let's run this cell and see how text watermarking works. So in order to visualize this, we need to convert it back to the RGB format, which is being done here. We are plotting the text watermark image. The image.from array, it will get it the RGB format and visualize it using this variable. Now let's run this and visualize how it works. So according to our coordinates, we see that the PyAnalytics text which we have passed above is placed in this corner. You can change the corners, play around with it, and you can place it in any corner that you want or any place in this image that you want. So with this, we have learned how to place an image as a logo and how to put a logo as a watermark. So with this, we have learned how to put an image as a watermark and how to put a text as a watermark. You can play around with it. You can change the dimensions where you need to place this watermark, where you need to place this text as a watermark. You can take any image, any watermark, and you can run this. So to conclude that, we started with adding a watermark to an image which can work as a copyright. This project, this whole system can be used by different organizations and to make their content secure so that their content cannot be misused without prior license or a paid version. So now let's see how we can create a Flask app of the image watermarking project. Here you can see that I am using Atom, which is a code editor. I've created a new folder with name image watermarking. This is my project folder, and here I have created certain files, and we'll go through all these one by one. So let's see what is the config.py file. So in config.py file, we'll first import some required libraries that are, we'll import OS, and then we will import environment from OS. In this, we will define the configuration of the app. So we'll define a class named config, and in this we will set debug and testing equal to false. In the base directory variable, we will pass the path for the file. Similarly, we will select a secret key. Here I have taken it as PyAnalytics. You can choose any key that you want. And for uploads, we will set the path for the uploads folder. Here we have set session cookie secure as true and default theme as none. The other two classes are development config and debug config. In the development config, we have set debug equal to true and session cookie secure equal to false. Similarly, in the debug config, we have debug equal to false. Now let's see the app.py, which is the most important file. So whenever the main function is called, the app will run. That is defined in the app.py file. Here you can see that we are importing app from app, and in the main we are defining app.run. So when the app is run, it will go to init.py. In init.py, we are importing Flask from Flask, and we are passing the app equal to Flask and the name of the app. So the configuration we have already defined, we are calling them here using app.config.from object, and we are calling the development configurations here. After that, we are importing views from app. So let's see the views file. So in views.py, we will define our project. We will perform all the operations that we have done in our Google Colab in this views.py file. So let's start. Initially, we are importing some of the required libraries. We are importing request render template URL for from Flask. We will require OS. We will also import CV2 as it is used for computer vision operations, image processing. We will import NumPy for mathematical computation. As we are working with image data, so we will import image from PIL, which will help us in opening and downloading the images. And we will also import random and string. So initially, we are adding the paths to the configurations here. Here you can see that app.config initial file uploads is set a path which is app static uploads. So when this app will run, initially it will get into the get request. Here I have defined an index. Then app.root, we have defined two methods, get and post. So initially it will get a request get, so that it will show us the main page, that the index page of that app. After that, every operation that we perform on that app, it will get into the post section. Now let us see. So if the execute request is post, then we will set the option as request.form options. Similarly, we will set paths for all these. Image upload, image name, we will take image equal to image.open. As we have imported image from PIL, we will upload the image here. We will convert that image into a NumPy array, and we will store the shape. This is exactly the same procedure as we have followed in the Google Colab. This is for the main image. Similarly, now we will work for the logo watermark. So as I have already told you, in Google Colab, we will upload the image. We will find the center of the image where we need to put our logo. Here you can see that we are finding the center of the image using center Y, center X, top Y and left X. Similarly, after that we will find the region of interest. That is the region where we need to put our logo. So here you can see that we are following the same procedure for finding the ROI, and then we are saving result equal to cv2.addWeighted, the ROI and the logo. I told you how we can create patterns and I showed you how to add a line. The same is implemented here. You can see that this is the same exact code that we did in the Google Colab. After that, we will store the image in img variable and we'll save that to initial file upload path and we will return it. So this was for the logo watermark. If we want to work for the text mark, then we will run the cv2.putText function as I have already told you in the Google Colab. So how putText works? It takes the logo, it takes a particular text that you want to put as a logo, as you want to put as a watermark. Then it will also take the width and height of the image. Similarly, you can also change different font sizes, different font styles, thickness of the text and all that. After that, we'll follow the same process and convert it into an array and save it into a initial file uploads path and return it. So this is all about our views.py file. So this is the index file of our project. This is an HTML file. In order to create this, you should have a basic understanding of HTML and CSS. Here I am using jQuery and materialize.css, which I have imported here, as you can see. After that, in the first division, I have set the title of the app, this watermarking app. Also, it's made by PyAnalytics. I'm setting that. In the next division, I'm setting a title, image, upload image to watermark, and for that I'm giving a button, that is the browse button, so you can browse the images and select an image to upload, which will be taken here in the input type using image upload. Next, we will set the title for the upload image to watermark, and similarly create a browse button for uploading the logo to the watermark. Next, we will take the text from the user for the watermark. Here you can see that the heading is text to watermark, so it will take text from the user which can be used as a watermark. Next division, you can see that I have created a field set which will act as a radio button. Here there are two options, logo watermark and text watermark. So user can select anyone that they want and click on the submit button, as I have created below the submit button here, which will submit the user choice. After all this designing of the front end, these scripts in the end will handle the user inputs and all the functions that we have called above, so that they go to their desired fields. All the radio buttons and all the browsed files will go to their desired places. Here you can also see that I have set the image source as URL for static. So it will take the static folder, join the URL with the full file name returns from views.py. Next, we will see some other folders. First is CSS. So my CSS is defined here, that is materialize.css and materialize.min.css. We have taken some basic background image that is stored in the images folder, that is white background.jpg. As we are also using JS here, so this is a folder for the JS, and we are using the materialize.js and materialize.min.js. And similarly for the upload section, so these images are stored when we try this app or when we try to upload these images. Next, I'll show you how we can deploy this app using Heroku. But before that, let me show you the two most important files that we require before deployment. First one is the proc file. So the proc file is used to tell the deployment tool that this app is a web app, and the gunicon command here will run this app on web. The second important file is the requirements file. For that, we need to run the anaconda command prompt. Let me show you how you can create a requirements file. So in order to create the requirements file, which is a most important file for deploying this project, we first need to install pip reqs. As you can see that I'm already in the current working directory. You can see the path here. Let me show you how you can install pip request using pip install. I have already installed that, but let me show you. So for that, you need to run this command, pip install pip reqs. It will install pip reqs, which will be required for creating the requirements.txt file in your desired folder. And what this requirement file does is it lists out all the dependencies, all the libraries which will be required to deploy this app. So as you can see that it is running right now. It will install the pip request, and after that we will create the requirement file. So this is how you can install pip request. As I have already installed it, so it's saying me requirement already satisfied. So now let me show you how to create that requirement file. You just need to run the command in that current working directory as pip reqs, that is pip request, and it will create your requirement file. This requirement file contains all the libraries on which this project is dependent that are required to run this project, that is required to deploy this project. So as you can see here, it has successfully saved the requirement files in the current working directory of our project with the name of requirements.txt. So let us see that file and open it using Atom to make some changes in it. So here you can see that it created our requirements.txt file, and in this file we can see all the required libraries for this project, that is Flask, NumPy, Pillow and OpenCV. So OpenCV projects generally don't run with this version of library, and we have also used Gunnygon, which is not shown in the requirements. So we need to add both of them here, and we can remove this OpenCV Python version. This is an important step. Without adding both of these, your app will not be deployed and it will get you into some errors. So now let's save this file and move to the next step. So in the next step, I'll show you how you can create a new repository in GitHub and upload this project of yours on GitHub in order to deploy that using Heroku. So now let's move forward to GitHub. So as you can see, this is the home page of my GitHub account. We need to create a new repository. We'll create a new repository here and we'll set a name for this as image watermarking. You can take any name that you want. I have set it according to the project. You can make this as a public or private. That's up to you. And we'll create this repository. Now we need to drag and drop all the files that we have created, all the project folder, the whole folder we need to drag and drop here in this upload section. Now let's do that. So here you can see that I have drag and dropped all the required files that we have created. Here you can see that the total number of files is 28 and currently it's uploading 14th or 15th file. Till then, let us see how Heroku works. So you need to go to the dashboard.heroku.com. This is the dashboard of my account and you should click on new, because we are going to create a new app. We'll go to create new app. Before that, let's commit the changes that we have made on GitHub. So as we can see, all our files have been uploaded. Let's commit these changes so that it will be saved on our GitHub account. It will take some time. Till then, we can create our app on Heroku. So the name of the app will be image watermarking. It currently has 2 regions only. So we'll select United States and we will create our app. So after creating our app, the next step would be to create our GitHub account. So we have already uploaded the files on GitHub. Now we just need to connect our GitHub account to Heroku. We'll click on this button. My account is connected to Heroku. Now I'll search the repo that I want. So here we can see that image watermarking was my project. I'll connect this. So as you can see here on GitHub, my project is in the main branch. So we need to select the main branch to deploy. It's already selected. We can enable automatic deploys so that whenever you make changes on your GitHub, they will be automatically deployed here. So we'll enable this and we will deploy this branch. After clicking on deploy this branch, it will start deploying it. As you can see here, it detected it as a Python app and it start installing all the requirements that we have passed in the requirements.txt file. Here it will install all the libraries that are required for this project on which this project is dependent. Here you can see that all the libraries have been installed. Now it is compressing our app. So after compressing, the size of our app is around 90 MB and now it is launching our app. So this is the URL that it has given for our app. Now let's copy this and run this in our browser to see whether the app is running or not. I've copied the URL, pasted in the URL bar and run it. So this is the front end of our app, as you can see here, as we designed in the index.html watermarking app made by Pi Analytics. Now we will test if this app is working or not. So first we will check the logo watermark. We'll browse the logo that we need to put. This is the logo, and we'll check it. So here you can see that it set the logo in the exact desired position as we applied it. Now let's see the text watermark, how it works. To browse the image again, to upload the image, now we can set here image text, image that the text that need to be put as a watermark. We'll check this. Let's see. So here you can see that the text we uploaded gets watermarked here in the corner as we desired. So here we can see how our app is deployed using Heroku. You can do that exactly in the exact same way. You can also create your app. You can design a different front end for this app. You can take different images. You can take different text for your watermarking apps and deploy it using Heroku and GitHub. So with this, we came to an end of this project. Thank you.